The 7 pillars of psychological power. Most people spend their entire lives trying to earn respect from the wrong people, in the wrong way, using the wrong strategy. And here is the painful irony. The more desperately you try, the faster that respect slips away. Think about that for a second. You have seen it. Maybe you have lived it. You try harder, you explain more, you show up more, you give more, you bend more. And the person on the other side, the enemy, the rival, the person who clearly does not have your best interest at heart, they do not soften. They get bolder, they push harder. Because what you showed them was not strength. What you showed them was a target. Enemies do not respect the person who tries hardest to earn it. They respect the person who appears to need it least. This is not a motivational quote. It is a psychological principle. It is one that Niccolò Machiavelli documented 5 centuries ago with a cold, ruthless clarity that made his work controversial then, and still makes it uncomfortable now. Machiavelli did not write about how the world should work. He wrote about how it actually does work. He wrote about what people genuinely respond to at a behavioral level. People do not respect kindness in the face of conflict. Not because kindness is weak, but because in a power dynamic, consistent softness signals that you can be pushed. And people, especially the ones working against you, will keep pushing as long as that signal remains. But there is another side to that equation, and it is equally important. Enemies do not respect aggression either. Not real, lasting respect. When you react with anger to every provocation, when you fight back loudly and visibly, you are handing them control. You are proving that with the right words and the right pressure point, they can shift your emotional state completely. That is not dominance. That is dependency. So what do people actually respect? They respect psychological advantage. They respect the person who seems to be operating on a level they cannot fully access. The person who is calm when the room is chaotic, who is patient when everyone else is impulsive, and who appears to be playing a game that nobody else can completely see, let alone beat. Machiavelli called it the quiet control of the situation. It is the ability to shape outcomes not through noise, but through strategy. Not through reaction, but through positioning. The people who master this experience something most never do. Their enemies begin to recalibrate around them. Not because they demanded it, but because something in the way they carry themselves makes aggression feel like a bad investment. Today, we are exploring 7 strategic shifts from Machiavellian thinking that will silently reshape how the people around you position themselves and treat you. These are not mind games. They are frameworks grounded in real human psychology. 1. Control the frame of interaction. Every interaction runs inside a frame. A frame is the invisible premise underneath the surface of what is being said. It is the unspoken story that determines how everything gets interpreted. Who is in the right? Who owes an explanation? Who carries the burden of proof? The frame is set before the first word is spoken, and whoever sets it controls the entire dynamic. Most people walk into conflicts without realizing this. They defend themselves and try to prove their point, all without noticing that they have already accepted a premise that puts them at a disadvantage. Imagine someone publicly questions your judgment. The moment you rush to defend yourself, you have accepted their frame. You are operating inside a reality they constructed. Stop reacting inside their frame. Start building and maintaining your own. Redirect and reframe. Speak from a position that assumes their questioning does not carry the weight they intended. When people sense that their frames cannot trap you and that you operate from a grounded position, they begin to recalibrate. 2. Use strategic indifference. This is a principle most people understand intellectually, but almost nobody practices. Every time an adversary provokes you and you react, whether with anger, defense, or forced calm, you give them exactly what they came for. You confirm they have a lever. Strategic indifference is not suppressed anger or the silent treatment. It is the genuine redirection of your attention toward what actually matters to you, so that the provocation simply does not register as important enough to compete for your focus. When you are genuinely indifferent, the effect is disorienting. They expected friction and found air. That lack of response is a powerful statement. It says, "You are not at the level of my concern." When you continue moving in your own direction with focus, people watching draw a conclusion. They see someone operating on a higher level. Before you react, ask yourself, does responding here make me more powerful or less? 3. Let people reveal themselves. The most costly mistake people make when they sense an enemy is moving before they have the full picture. You feel a threat and the natural impulse is to confront it. But when you confront someone early, two things happen. First, you reveal your hand. You show them your emotional response before they finish revealing their strategy, allowing them to adapt and become more subtle. Second, you lose the information advantage. Patience is a form of active intelligence. It is the deliberate creation of space in which your opponent can continue revealing themselves without knowing they are being observed. When the pressure is off, people cannot maintain a calculated performance. They will eventually overplay their hand. All you have to do is wait, observe, and collect intelligence. When the right moment to act arrives, you do so with precision and full knowledge. 4. Become a difficult target. Adversaries do not choose targets randomly. They are opportunistic. They scan for the path of least resistance, the person with the most visible pressure points and predictable reactions. In nature, a predator never targets the strongest member of the group. It looks for the one giving off signals of vulnerability. If you want to make yourself a less attractive target, you must stop being predictable. Do not broadcast your insecurities or fears. The gap between your inner experience and your outer presentation is a form of strategic power. When someone tests a tactic on you and there is no visible result, they are left with uncertainty. And uncertainty is a powerful deterrent. Develop a genuine internal stability that naturally expresses itself through the way you carry yourself. When adversaries sense that foundation, they recalculate. 5. Shift from reaction to positioning. Most people live in permanent reaction. They are always one step behind, catching up, and responding to an initiative someone else started. Because they are always reactive, they never actually move the board forward. Positioning asks a fundamentally different question than reaction. Reaction asks, how do I handle this right now? Positioning asks, where do I want to be 6 months from now, and what should I be doing today to ensure my standing grows? Instead of investing energy into fighting an enemy directly, invest it into building a foundation that makes you stronger independent of what they do. Build real skills. Develop authentic relationships. Over time, this strategy produces a position so strong that what your adversary does has diminishing impact. Reactive players win moments. Positioning players win campaigns. 6. Let reputation travel ahead of you. Before you walk into any room, a version of you is already there. Your reputation arrived first. Real reputation is not claimed. It is observed and spread by others. It is built through what your consistent behavior says about you in the moments you think no one is paying close attention. When you consistently follow through, stay composed under pressure, and hold your standards, those observations accumulate into a living picture of who you are. When an adversary considers moving against you, your reputation is a major factor in their calculation. If you are seen as grounded and respected, the cost of attacking you goes up significantly. Reputation built correctly functions like armor you never have to put on. Build it quietly through action. 7. Control the psychological atmosphere. There is something invisible operating in every interaction. The psychological atmosphere. It is the emotional tone of the environment that shapes how everyone inside it processes what is happening. Some people carry chaos, amplifying uncertainty and keeping those around them off balance. But chaotic influence is fragile and exhausting. Calm authority is infinitely more durable. When you are the most genuinely calm person in a tense environment, people instinctively look to you as an anchor. Unconsciously, they assign you authority. This dynamic works directly against anyone trying to destabilize you. Tactics designed to rattle you fail when they find no surface to grip. Projecting this calm starts with your inner foundation. The speed at which you move, the depth of your breathing, and the steadiness of your gaze all send a signal. I am grounded. I know what I am doing. You do not need to dominate the conversation. You simply need to be the most internally settled person in the room. The true nature of respect. Respect rarely comes from confrontation. That single sentence holds immense practical truth. People spend enormous energy on proving, defending, and fighting, yet the respect never solidifies. Respect is not produced by noise. It is produced by what people sense underneath the noise. When people feel that you are thinking 3 moves ahead, that you have a foundation they cannot destabilize, and that you are playing a deeper game, their behavior shifts. The person who truly understands how power works rarely needs to prove it. The proof is in every moment of composure in the middle of chaos. Start with just one of these principles. Apply it with intention and watch how the behavior of those around you changes. Because those who embody these principles stop needing to demand respect. They command it without saying a word.